Good evening and welcome to another episode of Partners in Law. I'm Attorney Maricar Endico Runez, a proud member of the Cebu Lady Lawyers Association or CELLA, and joining me tonight as my co-host is also a member of the Cebu Lady Lawyers Association. Ladies and gentlemen, the very beautiful Attorney Jurjette Burdeos. Attorney Jorj, good evening.
Good evening, Attorney Mai. Good evening to everyone. Tonight, we are joined by a very special guest. We have invited to talk about our topic, kamusta ang kabatanunan karon sa panahon sa pandemya? How are our children, particularly our learners, in this time of the pandemic?
That's right, Attorney Jorj. And of course, I have the honor to present our guest for this evening. Our guest for tonight is none other than the Director 3 OIC Regional Director of the Department of Education, Central Visayas Region. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome Dr. Salustino T. Jimenez. Good evening, sir, and welcome to the show.
Okay. Good evening, Attorney Mai and Attorney Jorj. So to all of us, especially watching this CELLA program. So good evening.
Yes.
Good evening, RD.
Yes.
Thank you so much for gracing our talk show tonight. RD, how is the current setup of our learners in this time of the pandemic?
Okay. So thank you for that, Attorney Jorj. No? So actually, in Region 7, our current setup is that we have implemented or adopted the distance learning. So because of the pandemic, there is no face-to-face. So starting the school year 2020-2021, wherein we opened last October 5, 2020. So our modality that we use in our schools is the distance learning. We have the modular printed, we have the digitized modules, we also have radio-based instructions and also TV-based instruction. So some of the divisions in Central Visayas, actually the 19 divisions in Central Visayas have varied modalities. No? So that's why we call it a blended. So a combination of two modalities will become it blended. So some radio-based with modular printed, some also digitized with radio-based or TV-based instruction. So that's the current setup that we have here in Region 7. So far, our setup or the modality that we're using, as to the modality that we're using, we do not have any major concerns or issues so far. So praise God for that. So
That's
thanks
good to
to the 19 division superintendents, assistant superintendents, and all the personnel in the divisions to the level of the school, our teachers, our principals, our supervisors, and even our stakeholders. So our stakeholders really help us, the local government units, officials, and even the barangay levels. So also our volunteers, and these volunteers help us in our implementation of the basic education learning continuity plan. So this is also one way of supporting the sulong edukalidad of our department with, of course, our beloved Secretary Ma'am Liling Magtolis Briones, no, kaniyang sulong edukalidad, which is dak-an jud nato, no, nga according to Ma'am Liling, education must continue amidst pandemic. Even during war, education must continue because we believe that this is that important to us. Yes.
Wow. That's really great to hear, sir. So clearly, RD, no, ang atong mga kabataan, atong mga learners are 24 hours, 7 days a week in their homes right now. So even if they are continuing with their education, most of the time they are at home with their parents or their guardians. So we'd like to know, RD, how is DepEd, or what are the mechanisms that the Department of Education has come up with to ensure that the rights of our learners against abuses or the different kinds of violation against their rights as children are continue to be protected in this in the midst of this global pandemic, or in this what we call the new normal?
Okay, Attorney Mai. In relation to that, actually, though expectedly, our learners shall be in their respective homes 24/7, but we do not know exactly if it really is, no?
Naglaag-laag ba?
That they are naglaag-laag ba or what, no? So based on our expectations, so that's why we do have this distance learning to make sure that the education of our learners will continue amidst this pandemic. So as I mentioned earlier, that we use different modalities, no, in order that education shall continue. Now, as to protection of the learners, actually, our Department of Education, even last 2012, we even have that child protection policy, the
Yes.
DepEd Order number 40, series of 2012.
Yes.
Maybe you are very familiar on that, Attorney Mai, no? Because
Yes.
you are with us, no,
Yes.
in the Department of Education. I'm happy that you are with us, no, in the Department of Education, because lawyers really can help not only the division offices, not only the regional office, but more so on the learners, especially on the child protection policy.
Yes.
Now, recently also, we in the Department of Education, our beloved secretary, because she is always in her mind the protection of our learners. So
That's
she issued earlier, within fact last January 15, DepEd Order number 3, series of 2021, and that is the creation of the CPU or Child Protection Unit, no, wherein this Child Protection Unit is to ensure that the child protection policy in DepEd Order 40 shall be implemented well. No? So actually, this CPU is under the Undersecretary of Field Operations. So now our USIC for Field Operations is Attorney Ribsi Escobedo. Aside from this, CPU, also the creation or establishment of the CRED, you know, so child rights in education desks.
Oh, nice.
So yes, child's rights in education desk, wherein this committee also is under the Office of the Legal Affairs at the Central Office, under USIC or under Secretary Josephine Maribuhok. So to ensure also that all the rights of the children shall be protected even at the level of the levels ilaha, no, while they are at home or while they are in school. So whenever the teachers learn that there are abuses, so they will just inform, no, the committee, and right away there will be other committees who will do the investigation and will take care of that in order that again to ensure that child's rights must be protected.
So kaning CPU o CRED RD, makita ni nato siya sa mga division offices and schools?
Yes, actually naatay national office nga unit, and then it cascaded down to the school
Regional
level.
and then school level.
Regional, division,
and
then school level. Oo. So para ang mga maestra mo na ato, di ba na train po nato atong mga maestra how to handle mga cases on child abuse. So at least they have this committee who will specifically cater these issues.
It's really commendable for the Department of Education to come up with the Children Protection Unit, sir, no?
Yes.
But we want, can you elaborate further on this? Unsa man ang mechanism sa CPU? How do our children get to report directly, or is it caused through their guardians, their parents? Because most likely the abuses are caused also by, you know,
Their own parents.
their guardians.
Their
So
own
how
guardians.
do these children, no, goon sa nila pag-adto sa DepEd, or how do they report these kinds of abuses? And on the other hand, how does DepEd respond to these reports as well?
Yeah, so far, as to the mechanisms, like number one is more on the advocacy. So our learners, our parents, our teachers need to know and be aware of these things, and even giving them an idea as to where they will report. So if the learners, somewhat like a confidante, kinahanglan na siya masulti, no? If like for example a learner will tell the co-learner, so once the co-learner learns such, so atong ikuan nga they will also, if sa balay confident sila to tell their parents, so adto sila mosulti silang ginikanan.
Okay.
But if they are not confident because possibly it's within the house who caused that abuse, so they will report adto sa ilang teacher, or then the teacher will report directly to the principal, and the principal will convene the committee, and then will discuss and also do report to the LSWDO and also the SWD, and then possibly to the police for that matter, especially ato sa women's desk for the filing of a possible criminal case. But for the administrative side, so they will report it to the division, and the division will forward it, of course, to the regional office for some instruction for proper investigation.
So, RD, kaning atong mga kabataan, they know about these things, the procedures and the referral system that we have in the department, sa kung asa sila mo report or mo adto if they are victims themselves, or they are recipients of information that their classmates or schoolmates have been victims, have fall victims to these kinds of abuses.
Yeah, so we already had that orientation even before, na once the DepEd Order number 40 series of 2012 was issued, so there were series of orientations and cascaded even to the level of the learners. So with the hope that they are already aware of that, and at least ongoing po ang ato ang mga orientations from the
Webinars,
different
because right now we
from
cannot
for the
have the face-to-face.
for the parents and even to the teachers through the office also of the legal in the
Yes.
division offices. I'm
Yes.
sure the different legal officers in the division offices and even in the regional office do conducted webinars or
and
orientations regarding this. So
Yes.
because advocacy awareness is very important, so that is what we are doing now in Central Visayas.
Very nice.
Nindot kaayo sir no kay at an early stage ba these children are made aware of their rights no, and kuan ang DepEd also created an avenue for them actually to really enforce pud no ang ilahang mga rights. So sir, in this new time no, we also have the parents playing an active role. So far, how are the parents or the guardians responding to the new normal, considering before the children are in school for 8 hours.
Yes.
Now the children are already in their
Homes.
respective homes 24/7, diba? So how are the parents?
Yeah, actually, maybe you've heard so many issues and concerns about the response, of the parents, how they reacted, especially during the time when we are still preparing for the implementation of the different
Yes.
modalities. So, but I'm sure with the series of orientations with the parents and guardians, in fact, in Central Visayas, we're able to orient through webinars, through virtual, around 1.3 million parents
Wow.
all throughout Central Visayas. So with that number, possibly some parents who were not able to attend also heard from their co-parents
Yes.
about the importance of education. And as parents, what will be their roles for their children in education? Though the teachers do have roles in education, but parents as well, being the first teachers of their children, should know also that, nobody has been spared with this pandemic.
That's
Everyone been bombarded with the challenges of this COVID-19.
That's right.
So what we need now is collaboration, collaborative efforts. That's why we have to make it sure that our parents also will be aware of their roles as parents, and the importance of education as well. No, might be because sometimes they knew that these are their roles, but as to importance of this activity or undertaking, sometimes need more explanation.
Correct.
Or push, especially that some of our parents are not that educated. So they prefer, don't go to school, and why nagadto kay naata karon niya hadlok pa, etc., etc., dagan. And then mingon pa nga di mi ka mao, so this is it.
Yes.
But even though there are issues and concerns, no, that our parents raised, but from time to time, as we started this school year 2020-21, and maybe daily, no, advocacy and awareness. So recently, we are now in the second quarter, and
Yes.
parents are getting used to it, and possibly getting to love it, no? Because while their learners are their children are doing the task, and they're also doing other chores at home, and even some of the learners, I visited some of the schools in the hinterlands and even in the island schools, and I observed that and interviewed some parents, and they told me, "Sir, siguro this setup is good because in the morning our children will help us in the chores at home and etc. for living, no, daily sustenance, and then later when they'll go back home, either nighttime or early morning, so that's the time they will also do the modules, the answering the modules, etc. So because of that, so pagkaroon so far, wala kayo tayong mga issues and concerns, mga major issues and concerns din sa Central Visayas. So siguro it's because of communications. So we encourage our teachers, our school heads to communicate with our parents. So whenever they have some issues, they will address right there and then. So I know with that, no, magkuha dayon sa parents pod ang unsay gusto natong paabot, no.
Yes.
Ang ako ra yung ibalik-balik is magpakabana gyud ang tanan,
Yes.
no, for a common cause. And I keep on reiterating that it takes the whole village to educate a
raise a
child.
child, that's
Therefore, it's not only about teachers, it's not about parents, it's about the whole community. And this pandemic actually maoy nagkuan ana nga kanang mo'y nagmugo, murag mo'y nagkanabitaw, nag-crystallize bitaw sa ana nga statement, kay nakita gyud ato nga ang tanan nagkahiusa para sa usa ka kausa nga mao ni nga mapadayon ang edukasyon.
All right. We will take a short break and be back after a few reminders. Please stay tuned. We are back. You're still watching Partners in Law with me, Atty. Endico, and with my co-host, Atty. Jurjette Burdeos. And our guest for tonight is, of course, the OIC Regional Director of the Department of Education, Region 7, Dr. Salustino T. Jimenez. Before the break, our regional director has been talking about the different programs and the different mechanisms that the Department of Education has made sure to be in place to continue in the protection of the rights of our children, even if they are receiving their education in this what we call the distance learning in their respective homes. So, RD, we'd like to know, no, kay natay mga daghang mabasa sa news, natay daghang makita sa social media on these children or minors who have fall victims in this what we call the online sexual exploitation of children and the other types of abuses that we know of. And very common tungod sa ilang situation nga naa sila mostly in their homes with their parents and guardians nga they fall victims to this what we call the cyber pornography, and it's very sad to note that their very own parents or sometimes their guardians or relatives are the very people who lure them or push them into committing such or to engaging in such activities. So we'd like to know, are there any coordinations or any meetings that DepEd and our police force have in making sure, in addressing this issue or concern?
Yeah, yes, of course. Department of Education is always in collaboration and coordination with all other agencies,
Yes.
no? Especially including the PNP, no? Is on these issues. So every time we do have issues like this, so we will coordinate with them. But as of now, in 2020, we have not received any
Reports.
verified reports that there is such abuse, no, like what you mentioned.
good.
But it's good, no. Though we keep on advocating still about the rights of our children, because might be there are issues, but they didn't report it
Yes.
to us, no,
That's
in
right.
DepEd. So that's why the advocacy continues, so that whenever there will be issues like this, so we can coordinate with the proper agencies, no, with DepEd. DepEd shall become the facilitator or the
Yes.
conduit for the proper action, because dili man ta kuan agency nga in charge gud nga mo kuan
Yes.
gud nila, no. Oo, labi na sa criminal aspect.
That's right. But I think DepEd can really help a lot because according to the PNP, although the statistics for these abuses involving our children have declined or have decreased in the year 2020 during the lockdown, they feel or they suspect that it could not really mean na wala nahitabo ang mga abuses in their homes, but it could mean that our children have become more fearful of reporting precisely because it could be that their own parents are the very people who are luring them into engaging in these activities. So I think our teachers being
Yeah, the advocacy
in
thing.
constant communication with our learners and parents can really help a lot
Yes.
in assisting our police force to end these kinds of abuses committed against our children.
Yeah. So that's true. That's correct, Attorney Mai, no, that we need good constant communication
Yes.
to our learners and parents, even the community people,
Yes.
because once they learn something that there is happening, no, in the households or where, so if they will just report to us, and then we will also coordinate with the agency, no,
Yes.
nga concerned for that. So far as of now, as I mentioned earlier, that wala gyud ta
Wala pa.
naabot sa
Thank
atoa.
God.
Anya, praise God nga ang kanang wala gyud taon, no.
Oo.
O nga walay mga nagpahipi nga mga issue. So because ang ato mga learners na hadlok, but we also are advocating that our learners must assert their rights, no?
Yes.
So they must
They will be more
stand
courageous
firm, they
in
must be
reporting to
brave
the
enough
proper
to
authorities.
tell, because it is
How do
also
how do
still,
we do that in DepEd, for example, RD?
that's why more on the referral system, and then once we receive such a report, no, from somebody, then we'll call the learners, like our guidance counselors, with the help of our guidance counselors, the designated guidance counselors, to talk to the learner. And then if for now, because we do not have face to face, maybe they can talk through the cell phone,
The different
because
platforms that we have,
we can
online,
yes, we can use, no, to make sure, again, to ensure that continuity of protection among our learners shall be our priority.
So currently, sir, no, Cebu does not have any actual cases, but outside Region 7, were there actually actual cases of abuses of the children that you are aware of?
Yeah, because even in the newspapers,
Yes.
we can
We
read and we
read it
can
very
watch in
often.
televisions that there were cases like this.
Yes.
Na like some of the teachers,
Being committed by
not
the
yeah,
teachers.
not teachers, not just a physical, but possibly verbal
Yeah.
abuse,
Yes,
or
that's right.
emotional abuse, no. So like texting, what you mentioned, texting
Yes, oo.
about something that is not right and proper, for a teacher or an adult to text learners about something which is for the couple, no, legal couple will do, no. But if in case there will be such issue, so probably what we will do is report right away to the proper authorities.
And DepEd, sir, on their part, has penalty sanctions in place for these kinds of abuses, especially for teachers who are under your jurisdiction.
Yes, of course. After an investigation, if found guilty, ultimately they will be dismissed, or the least is suspension, dependent on the gravity of
The offense.
the
The
offense.
offense.
Oo.
So mao na no, reminder gid sa ato mga magtutudlo, especially those who are watching us right now, to always make sure no that we abide with our code of conduct as professional teachers, as well as to follow the different DepEd orders and issuances that we have, because as what RD has mentioned, this can result in the dismissal from the service, and of course ato jung ampingan ang atong trabaho no, because this is where we get our this is our bread and butter, and this is where we get the source of income that we need to provide for our family. So RD,
Yeah.
yes RD.
Yeah, aside from that, not only that our teachers do get their bread and butter in this being a teacher, but I'm sure they took up education because of their passion,
Yes.
because of their love for children. I, for one, I took up education, and I am connected with DepEd because I love children. Now, if we love children, if we care for children, we should not think of something that would
Hurt them, harm them.
harm them, would cause danger for their future. So,
Yes.
what we need to think always is, how can we make these children become the kind of citizens in our community in the future? So, always, even as of now, no, even during the time when I started becoming a teacher, I always think of what will happen to these learners after my lessons, after possibly it's more on touching their lives, so that they will become responsible and productive citizens in our community. So that is supposedly be the thinking, the line of thinking
Of a
our
teacher.
teachers must have, no, in order that of course we will be realizing the long dream, no, in our country, that our community people are that not only that we are hospitable, but we are responsible as well, and of course productive, no, in any way.
Nindot kayo paminawon, Attorney
So-
Jorj, no?
so-
And of course, if I may add, no, aside from the administrative aspect of these offenses, when a teacher commits these offenses or violations that we have against children or our school children, of course, Ardino, naapod diha ang ilahang criminal liability if
Yes.
ever the complainant would file the case with the prosecutor's office
regular
in the regular courts. And of course, naapod diha ang revocation, possible revocation of their
Their
licenses,
license, yes.
if the case is
Found
also
guilty.
filed in the Professional Regulations Commission or PRC. So daghan, Attorney Jorj, ang mga possible consequences and liabilities that our teachers would possibly face in the event that they would be found guilty of committing such offenses against our children.
Yeah, actually, Attorney Mai, di ba, they can be charged of three: criminal, civil,
That's
and
right.
administrative.
That is correct.
So for the DepEd side, we'll have the administrative. For the civil and the criminal side,
With the
will be in the
regular
regular
courts.
courts.
Yes.
So they can be filed simultaneously.
Yes,
No? So
that's correct.
that's why beware, all our teachers out there, our colleagues in the public service, that we should be aware of these things, so that whenever we do some actions, always, no, sa ako nang ibalik-balikan, I will be reiterating this even in my FB Live, that we have, every time we do some actions, we have to consider three things. Now, is it good?
Yes.
Because of, if it is good, of course, it will never be bad.
Nice.
And it is right, because if it is right, it will never,
Never
be
be
wrong.
wrong.
And the third one, which is very important because it also encompasses all the other two, which is it pleasing to God? Because once it is pleasing to God, I think all others will come into place orderly. No?
Very nice. Atong balikon, Attorney Jorj, ang katong three things that RD has shared to us and our viewers in mura bang assessing before
Yeah,
making
before
any actions
any
or decisions.
action,
So number one, Attorney Jorj, is it good?
Yeah.
Because if it's good, then it can never be bad. And number 2 is it right?
Right.
Because if it's right, it can never be
Be
wrong.
wrong.
And finally, the third question that we ask ourselves before we decide to do something or to act on something is
Is it pleasing to God?
pleasing to God? Okay, of course,
Yeah.
if it's something that follows the law of our Creator, our divine being, then it must be something that is also pleasing to mankind, and something that
yeah.
would be that would not hurt or harm our fellow men.
Yeah. So that's why in DepEd, I always emphasize that we always have that smile, not just the physical smile, but we have meanings of smile, no? In
Yes,
DepEd.
nani meaning si RD sa smile. Yeah,
The smile,
meaning.
si smile
We
is,
share.
one meaning of smile is serbisyong mabilis,
Okay.
ialay lagi sa edukasyon. So it's for the education. Mabilis or mabuti, hatag ialay lagi sa edukasyon. And the other one, because every day is a challenge, every day is a day of Thanksgiving, because there are so many as of now, even in the deathbed, but we are here surviving.
That's
So every
right.
day we need to smile, not just a physical smile, but thinking about smile. So another meaning is see miracles in life every day.
Wow.
So if we can see miracles in life every day, that would possibly make our day lighter, and we will feel good, no? Nga bitaw, no? So tinuod gyud, no, nga karon daghan kayong wala ka tindog karong adlaw, daghan
Correct.
kayong wala ka buka
Wala
karong
nakakita
adlaw,
sa adlaw.
wala kita sa adlaw, wala ang uban daghan kayo karon nga nigbayad og kanang oxygen para makaginhawa, but we are here free, no, ang ato ang ginhawa. So with that, mo nang see miracles in life every day.
Yes.
Attorney May and Attorney Jorj, no?
And always have an attitude of gratitude.
Yes,
no? Sometimes,
attitude
no,
of
dili kay
gratitude, yeah.
ma-practice sa
So,
ato sa
and
mga
then
Filipinos.
especially praising God always
Nice.
for what happened. So God allows it to happen, so be it. So
There's always
I
a
know
reason
there's always a reason
and a
behind it.
purpose
So
for that.
never regret of what happened, but instead
thankful.
have it as lesson learned for the future.
Very nice. Very well said.
Thank you for the wisdom, Ardy. No, it's not only applicable to the legal community, but even to us as well, for
Exactly.
every profession.
Yeah.
For now, let's take a pause and we will be back after a short break. Welcome back to Partners in Law with Cebu Lady Lawyers Association. With me is Attorney May Runez, and of course, our guest speaker, Regional Director Sal Jimenez. Okay, sir, regarding the abuses, no? What are the perceived abuses other than the online exploitation?
Yeah, okay. Some of the abuse, actually, we have usually more on the physical abuses, verbal abuses, sexual harassment
Yes.
through online, and corporal punishments. No? So these are, but so far, corporal punishments, the physical abuses,
Dili na
since
kaayo karon.
since we are having the distance learning, so
Yes.
it's not
It's not possible for
not
our
rampant,
teachers to
the
commit
teachers to commit
corporal
such.
punishment.
But still, there are corporal punishments, I believe, in the household,
That's
no?
right.
In
Ang
the
parents
respective
na po,
homes. So
no?
the parents, while facilitating learning, so answering the modules, basin og mo na to kay na mga bata reporting sa kanang atong mga teachers nga kanang gusto na gyud sila mo back to
Face to face.
Oh, back to school. Gusto sila face to face. Di na sila gan kay murag mas daghan ko nung kasaba sa kuan. In school ang ilang mga teachers dili mga saba nila, dili mang lunit nila. But ang parents ko no nila mas kuan manon, mas stricto ang parents nga mo
Yes.
guide nila. So those are some, no, but that's why we keep on again, no, emphasizing especially ang roles at parents nga dili gud nila in town dili sila mo inflict og corporal punishments ato ang mga bata, dili nila yaw-yawan kan mga verbal abuse, no, nga sila na noon mismo nga ilahang kaugalingong anak, no, do napoy mga report sa parents nga di sila kagwanta, so they value the teacher's role, no, nga dili dayon lalim ang teacher kaya
Nakita
ilang
na
galim
nila.
usa duha ka bata ilhang giatubang maglisod naman kuno sila niya ang teachers they have with them mga 40 45
students.
50 but of different orientations different upbringings but the teachers are able to handle
Manage
so
their
yun
students.
kuan na gyud kaayo ang mga teachers so with that mana keep on kuan gihapon communicating with the parents telling them nga by facilitating it doesn't follow nga they have to inflict corporal punishments or they can utter words that are not proper to their children because that has an implication. So mental health na pod issues will come in
Yes.
once these actions will be done to the learners. So mo na atong gikuan jud sa kuan na pod even part of the orientation with the parents kay aron makabaw sila nga unsaon nila pag guide ang ilang mga bata no so mao siguro na ang atong mga gipangbuhat pa karon no labi na sa mga abuses do wala tay na abot siguro
So
tungod
far, wala pa from the
wala tayo naabot sa ato ang
parents.
regional office or possibly sa division offices because I'm sure nga all the division offices are working no so ang labi na ato ang legal office
Officers
divisions
in
or
the
legal
divisions.
officers in the divisions in the region are really doing their task no to ensure protection sa rights sa mga bata and also the proper orientation on what will be the consequences if ever these actions by the parents, the teachers, or whoever will be inflicted to our learners.
Yes.
So, mao nay nabantayan siguro, labi na kung sigihan ko tag istorya, no? We know sometimes, we know these things, but if nobody will tell us, sometimes
forget or we just
mulargo lang kag
neglect these
action, no? But
Yes.
if there are somebody
Who reminds
who
us.
keeps on reminding us
Constantly.
consistent then automatic na si mong mind nga once kay dili ko ani kay
Yes.
ko no that's it so that maybe possibly is what happened in Central Visayas that's why wala tay mga ning-ani nga mga major issues like this.
So continuous good RD no ang atong mga
Yeah.
orientations to our parents. Our orientations did not just happen at the start of the school year,
Yeah.
but even right now that we are already in our second quarter.
Yes.
So I think we still continue to give them webinars and
Yes.
different symposium, although in the online
Aside
platform.
from that, actually, Attorney Mai, not just a webinar, but every time there will be an engagement with the teacher to the parent, so there is already that additional value
Opportunity to remind
So,
them
like for
again.
example, in the giving and retrieval of modules.
Of the
So the
modules,
parents
yes.
will come to the school to get the modules, and then of course the teacher and the parent have an engagement. They will talk each other about what happened to the child, and then giving them idea on how to handle the child, because some of the parents also will tell the teachers and even
challenges
asking their challenges
that they
and
are
asking them
experiencing.
advice on what to
Yes.
do. Sometimes they will tell, I cannot handle anymore, ma'am. So what shall I do? So so the teachers has the opportunity also to
guide
our
parents.
parents. So during that engagement or interaction. So it's not only on webinars and orientations, but even one-on-one interaction with them.
RD, no? So, speaking of the rights of our children, when we say protection of the rights of our children, how do we balance this also with the rights of the parents and the teachers to discipline the children? So, what are the extent of the disciplinary measures that they may enforce upon the students or upon the learners?
Yeah.
Yes.
There are parameters actually that we have to follow, no? Like, for example, corporal punishment. So it's a no-no.
That's a definite no-no.
Yeah. But positive discipline shall be enforced to our learners.
Yes.
So, and there are ways already on how to implement positive discipline, and the teachers are very well aware of that, no? Because they've been oriented already. So how many times since the time when we had this DepEd Order 40 series of 2012, So there were series of orientations about these things. So positive discipline, what is this positive discipline?
That's right.
How the learners respond well, no? If ever positive ang imong discipline nga gi-implement or katong discipline nga maka-cause og damage sa bata.
Physical or psychological
Physical,
harm.
psychological, emotional nga mga harm. So the teachers already has an idea on this. So dili na kaayo siguro problema sa ila, no, on how to handle the situation because they themselves are aware on this, no.
Yes.
So mo na itong gipakadak-an jud pod tinuod.
Yes, because Attorney Jorj in DepEd, we have this what we call the positive discipline in everyday teaching, or what we call PDET, no?
Yeah.
And we are not just conducting this or giving this echo seminars to our teachers, but we're also endeavoring, our school heads are also endeavoring to give this talk to our parents, precisely because our learners are with them almost every day, no, or 24 hours a day. So karon RD na batay mga ongoing nga mga roll out to our parents on what is this positive discipline that we in DepEd already know and we are already practicing. So this time we need to extend this concept to the parents in their homes.
Yeah, actually during orientation this is already part, and then our schools also do conduct LAC sessions, so learning action cells.
Okay.
Now the teacher and the school heads do have these learning action cells, and then they will be discussing and deliberating what will be the possible actions and possible things that they need to give to our parents, no, especially during contact days with the parents and the teacher. So by then, so awareness, still again communication is a very important thing. Engagements, so continue with the engagements with the parents by telling them. So it's just a matter of openness, open communication between the teacher and the parents. So by then they can coordinate, they can cooperate, and we can make it sure that the delivery of instruction to the learners shall be also given consideration. No? So with utmost care on the rights of the children, the rights of the parents, the rights of the teachers, and everybody around.
So nindot kaayo to ang pangutana ni Attorney Jorj, no, kay I myself being a mother RD, no, so of course naagyon na ang need to instill discipline in our children, no, dili pud pwede nga mudako sila nga dili pud makat-on nga kung for example they commit something that is a violation or that is not supposed to be done. So kailangan gid gihapon nga ato silang i-remind o ato silang pahibawon nga ang ilahang mga nabuhat is dili pud sakto. So, RD, do we have like specific examples on this positive discipline concept that we have? Like specifically, unsa nga type of discipline that we can impose upon our learners in the event nga masipyat sila or makakommit silang mga infractions?
Yeah, there are some. Actually, ang ato rang gibuhat yung positive discipline is to transform our learners into something, into somebody nga in times nga na sila'y masayop, na dayon sila'y kanang kuan ba, kanang mag kibaw gyapon sila. So like in my case as a father, in our home, so ang amo akong gikuan gali reward system.
Nice.
Yeah, I do have the reward system. So whenever they do have this like every child do have a dream.
Yes.
They have wish. What is your dream? What is your wish? Okay. I want to eat ice cream. Just simple as that. Okay, so you want to eat ice cream. I will give you ice cream, but there is a but. So, are you done with your modules? Okay, I'm not done yet. Okay, so once you're done with your modules, so we'll eat ice cream. So, something like that, positive.
Yes, that's
so,
correct.
that is one way of kanang giving them the kuan ba, the what is this, the
Pleasant
energy
feeling.
to
That's correct.
they will become more enthusiastic to do
do more
things
good.
because they have the goal. So goal setting is one very important thing for our children. So this is your goal. Once you're able to reach this goal, accomplish this, okay,
so
you can have this. Simple things, but not necessarily on big things, no, but just simple things. Simple wishes, simple kuan. Okay, after this, okay, we can go outside for that, etc. It's just that, no.
Yes.
So we just want to correct the notion no, na our protection of the rights of the children does not translate to the deprivation of the rights of the parents and teachers to discipline them.
That's correct.
Yeah, yes.
That's correct. Because most of our teachers or some of the members of our community feel nga tungod kay murag nasubraan na nato
Yeah.
pagprotektar ang mga rights sa atong mga kabataan nga mura bag ato nang gitangtangan o katungod ang atong mga parents o mga teachers sa pagdisiplina sa atong mga kabataan, which is as what Attorney Jorj has mentioned is not the case, no.
Yeah,
Dili na
because
siya mao intention.
yeah, because the line of thinking of the people, especially the traditional way of thinking that we will be kuan man yung mga nga sana beat the
With a stick.
the rod spare the child.
Or I think that's also
So,
biblical verse.
that's biblical,
RD,
but
no?
yeah, that's biblical, but for me, we should not take it literally. Because if it is too literal, so what will happen if you will beat your child and then ang imong gibit ang dako kayong tubo na igo ang ulo, so what will happen to the child? So
Or
it's
very
not actually
fragile.
it's not actually a literal thing. You beat because sometimes our words is a sort of beating.
Yes.
My children usually will tell me, Dad, how about if you will just beat us with a stick or your belt
Mas mo request pa sila sa
than the
beating with
words
the belt,
than
RD.
the words kay imong mga words hinay to pero sakit man
Lao,
koy
magduot.
maigo man gyud ta mo na istorya sa ko pwede dad og kanang bunali lang ko kay ba mo ko nakasa o ano no kaysa imo na kung may mayan imo na kung sultihan murag makuha na gyud masakit man ko no but never man gyud ta nga ang word is sakit but it's just that nga when they reflected murag
They will
kibaw
understand.
sila nga masayop dahil sila
Asa sila
it's just
nasayop.
that it's just that.
So what we are doing away with are excessive, harsh,
Yes.
unnecessary punishment to our
Yes.
children.
Yeah.
But there are actually no allowable and tolerable
Forms of
tolerable
discipline.
forms of
Tolerable
discipline.
forms, yes.
Alright, nindot kayo atong discussion karong gabi una. Attorney Jorj, no? Daghan kay
Yes, Attorney
tagpag-unan, daghan kay
Mai.
mga inputs and mga insights nga nakuha sa atong guest for this evening. So, Director, unsa man imong mensahe sa atong mga teachers karon, especially those who are watching us tonight? What would you like to say to our mga beloved teachers?
Yeah, so thank you very much, Attorney Mai and Attorney Jorj, for the opportunity. So to all our teachers, I would like to appeal to all of you, no, to continue with what we have started. I know that you've been challenged also, like everyone else. So we'll just continue, laban lang, have the faith. We can do this. Education will really continue as what we believed in, no. So ato lang yung ipadayo na, and then also I would like to congratulate you all, no, for a very successful conduct of the 2021 school year, no, pagsugod na to, and then you're there always, so we cannot do it without you. So October 5 was a smooth and orderly opening of classes because you are there preparing for this school year 2020-2021. So with that, thank you very much our dear teachers and also our school heads and even the personnel from the school level down to the school level up to the regional level, because we make sure that all our efforts are united. That's why we're able to accomplish so much. So thank you very much to all our teachers.
Yes, RD. And ako po mismo, no, I am very much grateful to our teachers, no, because the persons we have become today is of course because of our teachers who played a vital role in our formation stage.
Definitely.
Yes. So, RD, we also have, of course, parents as viewers. Do you have a message to them as they play an active role in this new normal?
Yeah, so thank you very much to all our parents and guardians, no, who are watching here, and also even those who are not watching for now, and then maybe you can watch later. So thank you very much. again, we are in the same boat in providing education to your children that we also considered as our children, so the learners. I hope that with this cooperation, this partnership, we will be able to come up with a good output, no, which is the learners who will become the kind of individuals that we are expecting them to be. So with your cooperation, with your collaboration, and a little sacrifice, then we can make it happen. So to our parents and guardians, thank you very much also.
And finally, RD, of course, to our learners, what is your message to our learners or probably also watching us in their homes right now? Unsa man ang atong assurance nga mahatag kanila gikan sa DepEd in making sure that their rights continue to be protected in this new normal?
Wow, so to all our learners, congratulations. First quarter, we were already finished, and we are now in the second quarter, and you are still here, no? And then we survived, everybody. We all survived. So, especially here in Central Visayas. So, to all of you, our dear learners, rest assured that the Department of Education, specifically DepEd Central Visayas, your teachers, your school heads, the supervisors, the superintendents, and even all the personnel, both teaching and non-teaching personnel, are here as one, no, united force to make it sure that your welfare will always be our priority. So good luck, and I hope you will continue with modules or the kind of modality that you are using. If it's radio, please always listen, and then if it is TV based, please watch, and if it is digitized, please do your modules through a digital way. And then if it is printed modules, please do your activities in your printed modules. And I'm sure with that, you will become the kind of person, or you will be realizing your dreams in the future.
Alright, wow. Attorney Jorj, dali kaayo ang oras, no?
Yes,
Dili na
Attorney
gyud
Mai.
mabalaan o sa ka-oras na ang nilabay. So it's really a relief to know, especially for me as a parent, RD, no, nga DepEd really continues to ensure the protection of our children's rights in the midst of this global pandemic. So thank you very much, RD, for your time. Attorney Jorj.
That's right, Attorney Mai. So, RD, thank you so much for gracing us with your time. On behalf of Cebu Lady Lawyers Association, we thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you, the beautiful lawyers here, no? So Attorney Mai and Attorney Jorj from CELLA.
Thank you very much, RD. Keep safe, everyone.
God bless.